Hello and welcome to Forced Entry number 6 on the Via the Void Network. On this week's episode, Kevin doesn't talk about shit because he's not on this week's episode. Instead, we're going to change it up. I'm going to talk to my good friend Josh Patton. We talk about how we met, our experiences in the Marine Corps together, and how the military life has kind of ruined military movies for us. So remember, if you like the podcast, to subscribe on iTunes and share it however you can, whether it be through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Share the podcast with your friends. Remember the other podcasts on the Via the Void Network. This summer, Video Haha is still doing the top 25 lists that the Via the Void community would take to a deserted island. Also on Via the Void, you can look forward to some very good interviews and maybe some exclusive music coming up in the next several weeks. So remember to subscribe and share those podcasts as well. They're really good. So now, without any further delay, this is Forced Entry number 6. So, yeah.
Oh, are we recording right now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you were still about to start it up.
Yeah, that's like going to be the theme of this podcast. It should be called "Are We Recording Now?"
Okay,
because I think that's how like 4 of the last podcasts have started.
Right. I felt like you were kind of soliciting a story from me or something, but we're not recording yet. So
yeah, we could have kept in all that Frasier talk and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Frasier's it's a good show. So
there's still a lot of interest for Frasier. I'm slowly starting to learn.
Yes, I don't know why. I've only met one other person in my entire life that really likes Frasier, and I don't know why there aren't more people, because the writing is just so clever. So
do you think it fails because the writing is so clever and people just don't get it?
That's crossed my mind sometimes, but I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, it could be that, it's not real simple humor, but, and it's kind of, some of it's kind of like cultured a little bit, I guess, or there's a lot of literary jokes and stuff. And so I think a lot of people just aren't into that stuff, which is fine.
Yeah. I would expect that, especially now.
Yeah.
Nowadays when we don't have books.
Right.
We have movies.
Yeah.
We have movies to tell our stories now.
That's true. Movies. Yep.
I went on a big tear with someone about saying how books are antiquated. Is the medium has updated. We have movies now. We don't need books.
We don't need books. Right?
We don't need books.
Right. And we have Kindles and smartphones too, but
no.
I mean, you still have to read it, but
well, just think of Lord of the Rings. Like I think I've watched them all the way through once by accident.
Right.
But that story can be told in cinematic universe. I don't have to read a book. I don't have to read a book.
That's true. I've heard the books are better, but I think they cut out. I've never made it all the way through any of them, so I'm.
See, that's a strong argument right there. You can't make it through the books, but have you seen all the movies?
Right. Yes.
See, you made it through the movies. You can't make it through the books because we don't need books.
I'm guilty of being a non-reader, so.
So am I. So
I don't know though. I mean, I guess the imagery in books can be better, because you kind of like. I guess it's going to be personalized to some degree, but some books are just so long and it's just too much. Plus, I'm a slow reader, so.
Yeah. I think I suffer from the same problems. It takes me a long time to read anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really have to be interested in it to even make it through or even to retain it. Because there's times where I'll be reading something and I'll be 3-4 pages until I realize I shut off 3-4 pages ago. I have no clue what's going on. I don't even know why I'm reading.
Right. That sounds like college.
Yeah.
You read a chapter and then you think back, okay, am I going to be able to talk about this? And the answer is clearly no.
Yeah.
So
I will not be able to write a paper on this.
No, definitely not.
So I've known you for how many years now? since 2007.
2007. So 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit over 8 years.
We would have just had our anniversary not long ago. Yeah. Yeah, because we would have been in SOI right now.
We would. And that's where we met. We met at School of Infantry in San Diego.
Right. Yeah, and that was in July? No.
March,
I
April.
I don't remember.
I think it was around May because we were in Virginia in July, because I remember I lost my wallet at Basic Security Guard School over the 96 that we had, and I was stuck on base because I couldn't get a replacement ID in time.
Yeah. I wish I'd known that, because I would have. I may have. But I don't remember that. Because do you remember what happened when I lost my wallet?
I did, and why don't you tell everybody how that turned out?
So I didn't lose my wallet. My wallet was stolen out of my wall locker.
I will contest my wallet was stolen as well.
Was it out of your wall locker?
Probably at a range.
Oh man, dude, there's so many people with sticky fingers in the Marine Corps. It is ridiculous. Mm. But anyway, so my wallet was stolen, and I think you were my Libo buddy, right?
Yeah, and I just figured this out because the new list came out. Because the way it works in SOI, if you don't know, is they construct a list of your Libo buddy. They don't ask you who you want to go out with or anything like that. It's just a way to keep you accountable and safe, I guess, the Marine Corps' way.
Yeah, I guess we should probably drop the lingo. Because Libo is short for liberty, right? So your time off, right? I guess so. That's just always what I assumed.
I think I just replaced liberty with Libo, and everybody. It just became its own. Its own term.
You thought you set the trend?
I thought we all set the trend. Anyways,
yeah. Right.
Your thing got stolen.
Right. So my wallet got stolen, and so you can't go off base without your ID, right? Because then you can't get back on. It's basically like a passport. And you were my buddy. And so you show up and you're like, all right, let's go. And we had never met each other. And I was like, I don't have my ID. And you were like, well, you better freaking find it. And I remember you were wearing a black leather jacket with a black t-shirt and black pants and black shoes. And I was like, oh, God.
Was I all blacked out like that?
You were all blacked out. I was like, this dude's going to slit my throat in my sleep because we can't leave base now. So
yeah. And liberty is pretty damn important to students going through School of Infantry.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was all the way through the Marine Corps, liberty is very important.
Yeah. Life is just the time between liberty. So. Yeah.
So it's really odd because of that first interaction between us, how we kind of turned out to be friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was probably in BSG because we were BRAC mates, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I don't remember ever going out with you in Virginia.
I don't think so. I don't really remember when we started to hang out because we were in the same platoon together after we got to because we were in orientation together when we got to Bangor.
Yeah.
Right.
Washington,
and then we were
Washington State, right? For those who don't know.
Yeah.
It's not just one big woman out there that we're banging.
Right. And then we were in the same platoon together after that.
You went to a different platoon. It's just we had the same off times.
Well, because I went to 4th to begin with. Weren't we in 3rd platoon? No. Oh, yeah, I guess our off times did just match up. Dude, it seemed like we were in the same... Didn't you come to 3rd or something?
I did come to 3rd, and then you came to 3rd because they did this whole... we're losing a whole bunch of listenership because they're like, we have no frame of reference what these guys are talking about.
Okay, yeah.
That's cool.
We can change the story if you want.
No, it's cool. It's cool. This is all interesting to me. If they're listening to it, they're interested, whatever. Okay. They're fucking off. They can't reach the fast forward button.
Right. Yeah, so because I was going to say, I know we were in the same platoon for a while, because I remember standing post with you. So, but yeah, I don't remember when we started hanging out, though, or why. Because you were buddies with Torres and Vasquez, like your buddy. And
yeah, and we had this tradition of going out to breakfast on the weekends.
Yeah.
And we always tried to get you to come along, and maybe about 50% of the time you would come, 50% of the time you wouldn't.
Was that when... Was Kyndra already in town for that? Yes? No?
No. She, I don't think she was part of the story yet. I
Okay.
think you may have just started talking about her to us.
Yeah. That's been a long time ago too.
It does. It seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's been almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's crazy.
We're getting all nostalgic and shit.
Yeah.
So when you look back at your Marine Corps career and things, what's the one thing that stands out for you?
The one thing?
Yeah.
Probably RTT, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What's RTT?
So it's a recapture tactics team. It's basically just like a SWAT team. I guess
is that what you told yourself, or is that what
No.
you guys told yourself?
Yeah, no. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much I want to talk about it over something that's going to be recorded and then posted on the internet. So, because I know the acronym is out there, but the civilian equivalent would be SWAT.
Yeah, so. They don't need to know exactly everything.
Right. Yeah.
But what makes that stand out to you?
It was just because before I joined the Marine Corps, I always wanted to do, I was more interested in FAST than I was in PRP. So for those of us who don't know, security forces is broken up into three main divisions. You've got 8th and I, which does like security in Washington, DC, typically for like generals and the president and stuff.
Yeah, those are the motherfuckers standing off Air Force One saluting and shit.
Right, yeah. So you've got those guys that are security forces, and then you've got what we did, which is PRP, which is security forces that guards like high priority targets within the United States that are like material targets, right? Not people, but things. Yeah. And then you've got FAST, which FAST did they'll do embassy security sometimes, or like embassy reinforcement, or they FAST also, they were in Guantanamo Bay. They did security down there.
Yeah. So the way that I explain it to it, because the recruiter explained it to me this way, is if you remember the shot of I think it was in Vietnam. I could be wrong because I'm really sketchy I'm really like not up on my history and everything. But when they evacuated the embassy after the Vietnam War, the helicopter's taken off from the embassy. The last guy on lowered the flag, got on the helicopter. That was a security force Marine.
Yeah. I would imagine so.
So, like I said, what about RTT? Why does that make it more memorable for you?
Because it was kind of the culmination of everything I wanted to do. When I joined the Marine Corps, I expected it to be a little more elite. And I mean, it's elite in a sense, but not in the sense that I want it. So
yeah, I think we all expected that because I think I was I think along the lines of with you, I wanted to do fast. I wanted to do fast security forces.
Right. Well, the thing that killed the Marine Corps for me was getting babysat all the time. Because I mean, I think you can relate to this too, because being a little bit older and being responsible human beings, it sucked to be lumped into a platoon with, 40, 50, 60 other people. And of those 60, there's probably 10 of them that aren't totally retarded and in trouble all the time. And so you've constantly got life in the Marine Corps could have been easy, but because people, didn't want to do the right thing, they made it a lot harder.
Because of 80% of our peer group, none of them could have a drink with us.
Right. Right. So, but RTT, we got away from that, because there were our platoon was like 35 people, and it was broken down into squads, and you only worked with your squad basically. So, when I was team leader on a given day, I only had 12 Marines, including myself, so it was like, it was very easy to manage those people. And I was able, the people who were a problem, it was easier to create a culture of success with 12 people than it would have been with 70.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, we ended up with very cohesive squads full of guys that like to be around one another, and it made the ranges go by faster, and we got to spend more time on training, and it became kind of what I thought the Marine Corps was supposed to be. So, but it was short lived. It was only like 6 months.
Yeah.
Or a year or something like that.
Yeah, then we went to the fleet, and we got stationed in Southern California, but we had we had no interaction with each other, other than come to your place on the weekends and all.
Yeah.
But what's something that did you do anything in the Marine Corps that you think back now and you thought to yourself, I should have gotten ninja punched, or I should have gotten punished or fucked over for that. Mind you that there's no statute of limitations. It's over. We're out. Our contract's done.
No, I never did. I never did anything that I can think of that off the top of my head where I really dodged a bullet and didn't get in trouble. What about, was there anything that you did?
Oh yeah. We, us in 3rd Platoon, we went over international borders a couple times.
Oh, I remember that.
When we weren't supposed to. So when you're in the Marine Corps, you have to get, when you're in any military service, you have to get intel briefing if you want to travel outside the United States border. We didn't bother doing that. We went up to Canada a couple times. Actually, I played hooky from work to go up to Canada once before to go watch a hockey game. But we went up that way, and we did some clubbing. I actually abandoned a girl in the middle of Vancouver because she wanted to tag along with us for some reason, and I didn't like her.
Was she Canadian?
No, she wasn't. She was American. One of my buddies brought her over, and he didn't even want anything to do with her once she was there. It's like that old saying, why are you bringing sand to the beach? Why are you bringing girls to Canada when we're trying to get like girls in Canada and all? But we're like at this stop sign, and she's oblivious. She's just looking off into space, and Real, the other guy that I was with, the light turns green for a second, and we just sprint like we're starting off a physical fitness test, and we leave her, and we look back half a block later, and she's just has this terrified look on her face.
Oh man!
Because we abandoned her in the middle of Vancouver. So her friend later on, we figured out, got this phone call going. I only got the one side of it. My friend said the phone call went like this on her friend's side. Hello? What do you mean they left you? Okay, well, what do you mean you don't know where you're at? Oh, okay, fine, we'll come try to find you.
She at least knew she was in Canada, right?
I don't know. I really don't know. She was that type of girl.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. So yeah, we should have really gotten screwed over for things like that.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, I remember hearing about some of those guys getting busted in Canada. Well, none of the guys that you went, but different guys from the same base. So
yeah.
But no, I was always on the straight and narrow. Staying out of trouble.
Yeah.
Being boring, except for when I spilled tea leaves.
It wasn't tea; it was all brewed tea. So that was one of the memories. And when I think back at Washington, I remember you constantly borrowing my car because you didn't want to get a car for some reason.
Yeah, well, I think I borrowed it twice though.
You did, and both times you brought them back damaged.
Yeah, and I apologize. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, if I had a new car and I loaned it to somebody and they spilled tea in it, I would be upset. And then
backed it into a pole.
And then ran it into a bumblebee pole. Yeah.
And you did something else to it. What did you do to it?
I think it was just those two things. I think it was just the bumblebee pole and the tea. And it had. Go ahead.
And one of those reasons was just because you wanted. I think both reasons were, one, you wanted to get the internet, and then the second time it was because you wanted to return the internet to the mall.
Yeah, because that was back in the day when before cellular internet cards sucked. I mean, they don't perform any worse now, but it used to be unlimited data, so you could just basically run the internet as much as you wanted to. So it worked in the barracks because we moved all the time, right?
Well, I moved all the time.
I did too.
Like, one of the most fucked up things that I tell people about the Marine Corps is I was homeless a few times when I was in the Marine Corps because they have assigned me a room that did
That
not
somebody
exist.
else was living. Oh, okay.
No, that didn't exist.
That's worse than anything that ever happened to me.
Like, I've taken all my gear up to the second deck and was looking for this room, like, say it's 216. I'd be going down, going 205, 28, 212, 220. Wait, where'd the rest of the numbers go? This room was never built.
I believe that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, most people are going to be like, whatever. But that kind of stuff happens. Yeah, I remember and when I was in 2.5, this was part of the reason I got out of the Marine Corps was because after I got divorced. And I continue to make good money for the duration of the divorce.
Yeah.
But once the divorce was final, I remember because I was in the S3, right? I was in operations, like you. And I think we had 3 or 4 corporals up there, and so they put them all in the same room. And dude, they had 3 or 4 guys in the same room, and like there wasn't even enough space for you to. They had a couch, and between the couch was enough space for you to walk between the bed and the couch to get to the bathroom, and that was it. Like, and there was wall lockers. Like, there was no space. Like, if you wanted to lay on the ground anywhere, you couldn't do it. There wasn't enough space. And then you have the same thing on the other side. So you have like 8 dudes in one bathroom. I was like, no way, man.
Yeah.
And then you're getting paid like $24,000 a year or something, less than that. It's like, no.
But hey, you don't have to worry about chow or place to live.
Right. And they take that out of your paycheck anyway. But
yeah, that's something they don't tell you about.
No, there was a guy on Facebook saying, oh, well, people volunteer to be in the military. So, you know, and plus they give them free room and board. And I was like, okay, first of all, the food is not free. You know, when I pay, they take $300 out. And then if you want it, so that means if you want to go out to eat, that means the food that's in the chow hall, you've basically thrown it. You bought it, but you threw it in the trash.
Yeah.
And then, dude, $300 a month for food. I live off that now, and I can eat out like all day, every day, you know, with $300. But
you know what I figured out? You know what I figured out a couple days ago? Well, I actually figured this out quite a while ago too, but I rediscovered it a couple days ago. If you were to get a haircut, because they require you to get a haircut every freaking week, right? Even the cheapest haircut, $7 to $10, right?
Right.
What's
it's like $500-600 a year or something.
$500 some dollars a year that you're spending to cut your hair.
Yep. That was another thing I said. Grooming standards, uniform standards, all that stuff, and nobody ever talks about that.
Yeah.
So.
All the little hidden costs of being in the military.
Right. Yeah. But he was like, oh, but it's voluntary. And I said, oh, well, last time I checked, post-slavery, everything's voluntary because you fill out job applications, and then you're offered a job and you accept. It's the same. I mean, it's the same thing. Whatever. But yeah,
we bash it, but you know, is some really fun times.
Yeah, I mean, if I could do it again, I would do. I'd probably go into intelligence or something because there's a big market for that in the civilian side. Infantry didn't get me real far during the job application process.
No, it doesn't.
No.
There's a tool out there that says, let's translate your military experience. Just put in your MOS. I put in like 0311 Marine Corps Infantry, and it came back with that whole tilt. Like the fucking pinball machine went off the tracks. There's no translatable civilian equivalent when you put in 0311 to some of these search engines.
Yeah. The closest thing you could get is police, probably.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, but the thing is you're not policing in the infantry. I mean, you're shooting things. So, I don't know. I won't get into that, but.
Yeah, that's another show.
So, but yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
One of the other things I remember you kind of introducing me to was the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you've listened to our other podcasts, we talk about that shit a lot.
Did I do that? Did I introduce you to that?
You did, actually. You introduced me with Iron Man. You really got me interested with Iron Man and everything like that. Yeah,
I remember that because I had that Xbox game. I forget the name of it now. But you could like build a hero or whatever, and Iron Man's always kind of been my hero of choice. So I didn't realize that though. I thought, because I know you like Deadpool. I mean, you've been big on Deadpool for a while. But
Yeah, but we never thought that we were going to get a Deadpool comic or a Deadpool not comic, but a Deadpool movie.
right. Well, I think Ryan Reynolds will be a good choice for Deadpool. I never saw Green Lantern, but I didn't hear good things. But
Yeah. I watched that on FX, I think 2 days ago, just because it was on. And I hate to admit that I think it's okay as a background movie, but if you really look into it, it's a piece of shit.
Is it pretty bad?
Yeah. So, yeah, you started me off with Iron Man, with the whole movies, because you were really stoked for the Iron Man movie to come out.
Right.
What do you think of everything up to this point? Because I haven't talked to you about Marvel in a very, very long time.
I liked. I think probably my favorite Iron Man is still the first one. The second one I remember being pretty good, but the third one, because I haven't seen the second one in a while. But the third one, it's kind of like, have you seen the new Transformers with Mark Wahlberg? I'm gonna do like a comparison here.
I am almost finished with it. It is such a long movie that makes absolutely no sense, and it's taken me about 3 days to get to close to the end.
Do you mind if I spoil?
Not at all.
I won't talk about the. Okay, so
no, you can spoil it all the fuck you want. I mean,
okay.
I'm sure the ending involves some explosion.
Yes. Have you gotten to the point where Optimus Prime like goes back to the spaceship and he releases like all of the ancient Transformers and they come out and they're like dinosaurs?
Yeah, that pissed me off because it was like 2.5 hours into the movie, or closer to 2 hours into the movie, that we finally see the Dinobots.
Right. So when you've got Optimus Prime riding a Transformer T-Rex, and I remember thinking like, man, every movie, rather than come up with something like of substance, they just try to make the explosions bigger and like,
I noticed that during this movie, like this magnet in the spaceship is dragging them up, right? And they're clawing at these buildings, and these buildings are exploding, like the buildings are filled with gasoline.
Yes. I thought the same thing.
What's causing the fire? I don't understand this.
Yep. When the Stegosaurus is getting pulled up the thing and it's like, I was like, dude, what's exploding?
Yeah.
There's nothing to blow up. It's like grenades, dude. Like grenades in movies are like nuclear, right?
Yeah.
I watched The Punisher the other day. Yep. The Punisher the other day, he did like C4 and stuff at the end, and there's just like huge flames and a flaming skull, and I was like, man, it's not accurate.
Do you find that your military experience has just fucked up a lot of movies for you?
Yes. Fury with Brad Pitt.
I haven't watched that yet. Destroyed
it. Very gruesome, which, I was okay with. I'm not a huge, I'm not crazy about obscene amounts of violence. It's not necessary for me to enjoy a movie, but I felt like they kind of really went out of their way to get you in touch with like the horror of war. And so when you've got like all these super violent scenes and, things that you would have seen in a war zone that no one ever even thought that you would see. And as you watch the movie, you'll understand what I'm saying. And for those of you, you'll see, bodies in the street that tanks are driving over them and stuff. And it's just very realistic. And then you've got guys running around, shooting their M1s, the Garands, like from the hip across the field trying to shoot Germans. And I'm thinking, dude, what are you doing?
You mean
it's a rifle? No, I never shot my rifle from the hip. No, ever. Well, maybe once, but no. Yeah. So I don't know, but so that movie, I really liked it. I thought that the action sequences were really cool, and it was like a good mix of like a kind of an arcade type movie mixed with a realism.
Yeah.
It was lots of explosions, lots of fighting, but there was a little bit of realism to it. And they had like some tank formations and stuff that was pretty cool. And then your infantry are just kind of running around with their head in the clouds. And I was thinking, oh gosh, you nailed it on everything else. Why did you miss it on this?
They didn't have an infantry technical advisor.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
So I actually know. Go ahead.
Yeah, somebody. What was you gonna say?
Yeah. Well, I went to high school. Did you ever see the movie McFarland?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen a lot of movies now.
Okay. So, well, I was going to say one of the guys in that movie, his name's Carlos Prats. He played like I don't know his name from the movie, but I don't remember. He played the team captain of the cross country team. He was like one of the main characters, him and Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And I grew up with him, and I was talking to him about that movie, and I told him about that. And I kind of said the same thing you did, like, oh, well, most people probably wouldn't realize it, so it's not a big deal. And his rebuttal to me was, well, you realized it, so somebody is, so,
Yeah.
maybe they should have cared more. I was like,
So
true.
what war type movie or military type movie do you think hits the mark?
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan hits the mark?
Yeah. I watched that and...
Little selfless plug here.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, Video Haha, Top 25. Go check out Video Haha on the Vi Void Network. All right, go ahead.
Oh, okay. That's all good.
That's some shameless promotion.
Okay. I'll have to go check it out after this.
Yeah.
Black Hawk Down was good too, even though it wasn't accurate at all. Like if you read the book and then you watch the movie, good example of why books are better than movies. Very good movie, but not accurate.
Very rare instance.
Yes. Yeah, right. Well, the Sergeant Eversman, the main character, Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
He actually went back to base after the first day. He didn't spend the night in the city. So, and yet the movie follows him through the entire ordeal, but he wasn't really there. So. Fun fact.
I thought the movie that did really good, I guess, was Lone Survivor. I think they put a lot of effort into that movie, and I really enjoyed it. And that's rare for me because I do have a hard time watching military-based movies and all, but I really did enjoy that movie. I think they spent a lot of time trying to get the little technical things right.
Yeah, and that guy, Marcus Luttrell, he grew up in my hometown. I didn't know him, but
you just know all sorts of people, don't you?
I know, right? I'm just dropping all these names. It's crazy. So, I'll drop Danny Amendola for the Patriots. I played football with him in high school, so there I've exhausted my list. So.
All right.
But yeah, that's.
Could you call him up and rag on him, say, "Remember when I kicked the shit out of you in football practice this and this time"?
No, we weren't. He was like one of the popular kids, and I was one of like the, like in the AP classes, but one of the jocks.
Yeah.
So I wasn't. Dude, we had 1,200 kids in my graduating class, so it was not a lot of. It was a lot of cliques. So, but when you have 1,200 kids, it's hard to meet anybody. So.
Yeah. But all right, I think we're a little bit over 30 minutes, and we didn't even we didn't even get to the full Marvel talk. So.
What is that?
We started off talking about the how you introduced me to the Iron Man movies, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Hype. And you're going to try to compare it to Transformers, but we got off on a thing.
Yeah, so I can run it. So Iron Man
cool.
3, where he had the little army of Iron Man dudes running around blowing stuff up, I was like, golly, they're really trying really hard to make it, bigger and better than the last one.
You didn't like the Iron Legion?
I didn't like the Iron Legion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned. I'm boring. That's why I'm not part of a focus group for movies.
I loved that moment. Like that moment when it came up is like, we really need backup. Look. And they all just come in.
And then they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were all just really, they went down like bitches though.
They did. They did. Yes. So.
But yeah.
But yeah, I went ahead and ran it down for you real quick. So I don't want your viewers to have to wait too long. So.
Well, we'll have to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe some more because it's quite big now, and it all started off kind of with me with the movies about you kind of hyping me up with Iron Man 1.
With Iron Man, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, thanks for coming on. I hope you come back on again.
Sure, anytime.
All right. Sweet. This has been Forced Entry on the Via the Void Network. Remember, if you like the podcast, to share it and subscribe to it on iTunes. You can check out all of the podcasts on the Via the Void Network at www.viathevoid.com. And again, thank you for listening.